These folks have come down, they're going to go to Howard University, and there's going to be over 200 college students be able to work on a project. Can we make your job easier, make you more productive? Are there suggestions how we could use technology to help you with your job? So that's a lot to think about, and I hate to spring it on you that quick, but any thoughts on that? You know, you already shared some stuff.
I don't have any thought right now.
Okay. All right. So if a team of students wanted to work with you to learn more, would you be agreeable to that? Okay. Yeah, engineering students.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Working with, that we've brought in is the keyboard, or well, we've got some assistants bringing in, is the keyboard to help with pressing the buttons so that he can manipulate the documents, and the mouse, which is like the one on his wheelchair, so that he can move the mouse around in much the same fashion. We're also looking at getting the anti-glare screen on there too, so that it's less harmful on his eyes.
So I've never met Curtis, but Curtis, can you tell us, hey,
I was gonna.
how long you work for us?
About 3 months.
3 months? Okay, good.
I know you're fine.
So pretty good folks to work with?
Yeah.
All right, good. And did the Department of Rehab Services help get you this
Yes.
adaptive equipment?
Yeah.
And was that through the Virginia Assistive Technology Center, VATS, over at Old Dominion? Do you know?
Yeah.
Is that who it was? Okay. So without that, you probably couldn't do your job, could you?
I could. It's harder.
I didn't understand.
Harder.
It's harder. This made it easier for you. So do you have any other thoughts on what would make your job easier?
No.
How about could get you working faster? You got any clues about that?
No.
Okay.
If I go fast, I make mistakes.
Okay. All right. All right. So it's a balance. You don't want to make a lot of mistakes, but
Yeah.
you want to get the job done right.
That's right.
Getting it right is more important than do it fast.
Getting there right.
Okay. All right. So I was watching you. You can use your joystick to rotate the document.
Yes.
Okay. So what files are you working on? Your customer?
DB right
DB
now.
Shanker. Okay. And are those files the same thing over and over? Is that a very consistent file?
Yeah.
So some customers have a lot of different sizes of paper and different papers, whereas DB
Yeah.
Shanker is more consistent.
Yeah.
These files are a lot bigger too, so you just shoot them on through. They don't usually have too many staples, right?
It depends on who prepared.
You prepared it. Okay. You can grade them. That's what we need is a way to grade the box.
We got a 3-strike pilot. So 1, 2, 3 staples. It's back.
Oh,
I look for staples and get those out. And if there are any tears, I
73
tape
fat rotator.
them.
No.
What's the hardest part of this for you?
I would say the hardest part is the big sheets.
And what's tough about those?
I wrap them around the rest of the stack, and that's what's tough for me.
Gotcha. Because we move them to the back,
Yeah.
and then we wrap them around. The way the scanner knows that those are the larger sheets. And we tuck the small ones in the front, right?
Yep.
Yep.
And I look for tears, holes, folds, things of that nature.
how long do you work, Angelique?
How long?
How many hours do you work a day?
Right now I'm only working from 8 to 12.
Okay. So you like that, or you'd rather work longer?
It doesn't matter to me.
Okay. So if we need you, will you come in and work more hours for us?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I want to know I can count on you.
And you told us before, but I'm not sure the camera picked it up. How long have you worked for Eggleston?
I've worked for Eggleston for almost 21 years.
That's
And
amazing.
how long have you worked in this department, though?
Oh, I've only worked in this department for a little less than 2 years. December 3rd will be exactly 2 years.
You got a good mind for dates,
Thanks.
because I can't remember, I have a hard time remembering my birthday.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Tell her what it is.
You want me to tell you and you can remind me next time you see?
Yeah,
November 30th.
November 3rd.
Yeah, and so after my birthday, 4 days, you'll be your anniversary,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yep.
Okay.
Miss Angelique just had a birthday as well this month.
Happy
Yeah,
birthday late,
October.
Angelique.
October 2nd. I'm 41 now, but I don't look it at all.
I agree. It's that good living.
Spoken like a true woman.
It's that good living.
I wonder why a lot of women are so embarrassed to admit their age as they grow older.
Good question.
You gotta
Some men
own
are
it.
like that too.
You just gotta own it.
Yeah.
So if these students could find a way to wrap those longer pages around the smaller pages, that would be helpful for you?
Yes.
Okay.
And so how many of these do you go through a day?
Me, I go through a box or a box and a half.
In 4 hours,
Yes. Depending on what it is.
the complexity of the box.
Right.
And can you tell me again how much you make per box?
Something like 28 or 29.
Yeah, it's in between that, 28 something.
Yeah.
All right. Do you think you're fair paid for your work?
I think so.
All right. Would you like to make more money?
Of course. Everybody would love to make more money.
So if we could help increase your productivity, that means you would make more money, right?
Right.
So do you have any thoughts on how you could be more productive in your job?
Well, I'd have to think about that.
Okay. All right. Well, next time I see you, maybe if you can think of some things. It may be some of it just you have to reach so far to take the stuff in the back bin.
Yeah.
That's going to be shredded, right?
Yeah.
So if you didn't have to reach so far to put that paper in there, wouldn't that
Yeah.
make you faster?
Oh, yeah.
So if you had a little box on the floor that you could just drop it in that box, would that make it faster?
Yeah.
Okay, there's an idea right there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You showed.
I'm working with Norfolk Public Schools, and what I do is pull out staples, paper clips, fold pens, cut off tears, or tape tears down, move small pieces to the front, and then put big pieces in the back.
You want to show them a little bit of when, like, finish prepping that file and maybe go on to another one?
So Donna, you said Norfolk Public Schools. What are those?
These are the charts from the kids,
School records.
school records.
But we can't read the information in it because it's confidential.
Absolutely. If you find my file,
Yeah,
call me.
you have to put a certain
I'm in there.
paper on the top.
He'd never know, right, guys?
I hope
He wouldn't
the-
disclose it.
I hope the leak in the roof got my records.
I think it's on the cave walls.
In the public school system, they have to keep records for 75 years.
You're
So-
still in there then.
I'm still in there. Just barely. They'll be purging mine next year.
I didn't start to have a hard time until high school.
Mine started earlier than that.
I put this back here,
Mostly math.
and then there's a little photo in here. I take that one out, because it just has a name on it, and there's nothing else on it, so I put that in shred. And then I look through these little bit of papers and make sure there's no staples. Pull the staple out. Of course, I'm gonna put everything back in order when I'm done.
Miss Donna, can you tell us what the hardest part of this is?
The hardest part is pulling the staple. And the Norfolk Public Schools are more challenging to me than the other ones.
Those are,
Okay.
yeah, and they're smaller. So
So they're harder because the staples are smaller, or are they harder because the staples are more sturdy?
The staples are harder and the paper is kind of old, so it's easy to tear it.
So what happens if it tears?
You have to tape it. You have to tape the rib.
And Norfolk Public Schools files are pretty small is another problem that I think that she's trying to express with slowing her down, because if we've got a file that's this thick, she can get through it real fast. It's not a problem. Whereas with those, they're really small, so each one takes a lot of care each time.
Imagine having a lot of people staring at you doing your work is not that fun either, is it, Don?
Donna's a star.
No, it's
She's
fine.
been ready.
It's okay? All right.
Yeah.
What we're gonna do, Miss Donna, is have a whole lot of college students watch how your process is and see if there's anything they can do to make it easier or faster or better for you.
Okay.
Okay?
Cool.
So we're filming you so we can show it to them next week.
Cool. Someday I hope that this will be on TV and I'll be on TV and I'll get to see my picture and
We'll make sure you get to see the video, okay?
okay.
Yeah, she's
Also,
already on the
someday I
website.
hope I get to move up to scanning.
There you go.
Ooh, that's your
Yeah.
next step?
Yeah,
That's your goal, right?
Yep.
It's good to have a
luck
goal.
to you.
yeah. She started across the street and,
Yeah, so this is the process from the very beginning that she's doing right now, because before she pretty much flipped all the pages, but right now is when she's got to go through each one and detach any long sheets.
See how I'm pulling the staples out and hard.
So Donnie, how many, do you have any idea on how many files you can do in a day?
I try to do at least one box in a day.
A box? Okay.
Yeah. But Norfolk Public Schools, I can only do a half box.
Half a box. And you get paid by the box, right? Mm-hmm. Do you know how much you get paid per box?
$29.58.
Okay. So some boxes are easier than others?
Mm-hmm.
How do you get to easy boxes? That's what I want to know.
Bless you, Angelique.
I like the TV boxes because not only are it's not that they're easy because they have a lot of staples in
You call them a DV box?
DB.
DB.
D.V. Schenker.
DB Shanker. Oh, another customer. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, it's consistently with moving the papers.
I got you.
So I get like a rhythm,
I got you.
even though it's not a machine.
I got you. All right.
Some other things we thought about for when they're prepping it, you see how she's flipping them pretty fast and just moving it over, would be some sort of angled thing to sit on the desk so that she wouldn't have to even stack them. When she was done, she could just flip it over there. And I looked into some stuff like that, but I couldn't really come up with, that's something I've been thinking of.
It's almost a paper tray that
Yeah.
would hold it
But it'd
steady
have
at
to
the
be,
bottom.
it'd have to be open at the bottom too, because sometimes they've got longer sheets or things like that, and I wouldn't want it to make the process more difficult if it ends up folding over.
I wish we had an electric staple remover.
Then you wouldn't have a job.
Electric staple remover would just mean we step on a foot pedal and get the staples out.
All right. That's the thought.
That's a thought. Maybe there is something.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what the students can design for us.
Yeah.
So, one thought would be, I guess you could also scan the pile to make sure there's no more staples in it by some sort of a metal detector. Because if you leave staples in it, probably somebody would get mad at you, wouldn't they? Because you could tear the machine up.
I don't think they would get mad at me, but they would be disappointed.
Yeah, well, and if you tear up our machinery, I'll be mad. How about that?
He's going back because they're long.
Okay.
I usually set them right there and then I come back to them. This is a small piece that goes in the front. This is not a long piece that goes in the back.
Donna, how long have you worked for Eggleston?
I've only been here in September, it was a year.
Good for you.
And you just recently transferred over here, right?
Yeah. I think it was June of this year.
Okay.
Probably been over there.
So this was a promotion for you.
Yeah.
That's terrific.
Yeah, like this is for me too.
Well, you know, Angelique, we're gonna have to come over and film Angelique.
Yeah, we gotta
I
come
think
over.
we got to do that.
Look at that.
Because right now she's the peanut gallery.
Sorry.
No, don't be sorry. Don't be sorry
We
at
think
all.
we think it's cute, Angela. You have a lot to say, and we need to hear it. You think I need to tell that to your sister, huh?
Yeah, I have a sister at home. She has this.
The days, and then the folks that are scanning and prepping, and they log in their box, and they know that we've got to meet the goal. So David just finished QCing a box, so he wrote the QC by his work, and he scanned a box already today. And now you're going to grab one, right?
Oh, yeah.
So these are where we get our boxes that need to be scanned. He's going to slightly cherry pick to see who prepped it. That way he knows he can get the most out of his time. Is there...
Pick a good one.
What do we have? Here, how about this one?
Oh, sure.
Yeah?
Yeah, and plus, Miss Shannon normally checks them out too.
Right.
Okay.
Yep. Alright. So he'll tell you the process from start to finish.
Oh, well, normally I first I click on scan. Oh.
And you're using DOMA.
Mm-hmm. And then.
You gotta get the sheet too.
Okay. Here's a test file.
But you want to show him the sheet we take off the side?
This is a time sheet. See, first I write down the date.
It's true.
And my name.
No, you're on an orange.
And then
That's why I chose
and
David.
and the time. And then I type up the number of the box and the last school attended, which is of course Northside Middle School.
So these are the indexes, which there's ones that'll retain in a sense, which is what this program offers. They'll stay the same, but the things that are going to change, like for this project, Norfolk Public Schools, would be the child's name and the date of birth. But the information that will stay the same is the box number, which is on the outside, and the school. So they don't have to type that in every time.
Oh, and we have special settings for the project, so that way we can get the best quality of the project. Oh.
So you do the smaller pieces individually, and then you would put the stack in there so that it'll go through a bit quicker, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
And you're correcting, he's correcting the direction. And I want him to say that he's manually correcting the directions.
Well, he goes back through once he's scanned all of it, and he'll tell you about how to flip it and rotate it as he needs to. Because
Yeah.
usually that's what we do. We get it all in there first, and then we go through and flip it, because he'll have his hand on the one button and flip it.
Okay, here's a big stack.
So how do you choose what to fill in individually and what to put in as a stack?
Oh. Oh, what do you mean by stacking? Oh. Oh, it depends about on how well.
Because some of the papers you put in one at a time and some of them you put in
Yeah.
like 4 or 5 at a time?
Well, sometimes the tank is very light, and since I have a special duplex mode, sometimes the bottom lens can give it darker text.
So when you do the smaller stacks, it's because they have certain settings for that versus the ones that have just the standard settings.
Yeah.
So yeah, they'll have settings like darker
Oh,
text,
sometimes
lighter text.
Sometimes it tends to jam sometimes. Oh, I think I just spotted something. Ah, here we go. Sometimes you have to rescan some things. There, problem fixed.
So have you scanned all of it now and you're going through and rotating?
Okay, not yet.
Excuse me.
He's rushing you.
Excuse me.
Okay, this stack's fine.
That sounded like a prep issue.
It's a metal detector.
Can we put a metal detector for each box first?
Okay, and that tends to. Okay, that's why. Okay, here's. Well, see, sometimes this main board tends to jam up, so I have to put it in half, and then scan it. And once I do that, I do a mini QC.
It's just a company.
Okay, there we go.
So you're just scanning and replacing those ones that had the staple in them?
No, I always, yeah. And sometimes the duplex will pick up blanks sometimes. So first I press the control button so I can delete multiple ones.
So now you're deleting the ones that have the bleed through?
Yeah.
So that's when we scan them and the back of it, which isn't really text, will show up, and we don't keep that because we charge based on image.
Okay, now that after I check all the papers, I type a person's name in caps, Adams, and comma, was first name and last name, last name first name last, Anthony, and the date of birth. Okay, now after everything's all checked, like the box number and the last school attendant, and keep it at pupil personnel. And after that, I click Add Document to store it. And that's everything no. And that's how Norfolk Public Schools is scanned and prepped. It was scanned and stored, actually.
All right.
Thank you. And can we ask you a couple questions
Gotta come
before you
back.
go to lunch?
Grass wasn't
What's the
green.
hardest part about this for you?
Well,
You just missed it.
probably. Well,
I'm right here.
maybe just the scanning stuff. Well, actually, sometimes making sure where there's no errors, and the jam once in a while. That's all.
The errors in the jamming?
Yeah.
And how are you paid for this job?
How?
By the box or by the hour?
Oh.
Do we do the same by the hour here?
He's by hour.
Okay.
So when you were typing in, that's the way we index the files.
Yeah.
So you index by name, by date of birth.
Yep, and the box number,
And the box.
and the last school attendant, and we put it under pupil personnel.
Okay, so there's really 5 ways that they could sort to find the information again.
That's right.
So these folks, whether they told you or not, are going to be working with a college group to try to see if some college students can look at ways to make your job easier, to make your job more productive. Do you have any thoughts on what are the things that frustrate you or things that cause it to go slowly?
Well, mostly it's usually when it usually jams. That's mostly it.
That's what's the most frustrating for you?
Yeah.
And so jamming causes your productivity to go down?
Yeah, but sometimes we tend to fix the problem by blowing air in it.
Okay, clean it. So frequency of cleaning?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you have a regular schedule cleaning?
No, we tend to. And if the jam keeps getting too frequently.
Okay. All right. So, do you what do you like about this job?
It keeps me occupied.
Okay. And what hours do you work?
I usually work from between 9 a.m. to 2:30 p.m.
Okay, 5 days a week?
Yes.
All right. Great. So, all right. Anything else you'd want to tell a group of college students about your job?
That scanning is a simple and challenging good job.
Okay. And how many different customers have you scanned for? Different.
Yes, like Norfolk Public Schools, Operation Smile, DB Schenker, New Hope,
Okay.
and countless others.
Okay. All right. All right.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
You're
Here,
welcome.
David. We'll say that this is a finished box, and they'll stack everything back in it neatly, and it'll have been scanned and taken care of. The sheet is completed, which includes their name and the time that they completed and day if it's a different day. And then we take the box from here and we would put it on this table, which is the scanned boxes. It's that's my labeling on that side. And from there, take and mark it off on our board for that work that we did for that day. And there'd be an S by it was scanned. And then we'd mark it off as far as our team goal for the week, so that we all know we're working, you know, on the same, making progress towards finishing one project and what to move on. This also tells them what they need to work on next. So, you know, he would go, okay, we're done with NPS. I need to get a DB Schenker box. So he'd pull that from out there, start the next one.
And what's in QC? What does the QC stand for?
QC is their quality control, which is based on a percentage of the box. They'll take, it depends on the client too, because there's tiers of QC that they pay for. But mostly, if we do like random QC, it'll be just, they'll pick somebody else's box at random and just check it based on the indexes to make sure the names are coming through and spelled correctly, and that there's not a whole bunch of pages that aren't lined up. But other clients like Operation Smile pay for a percentage, for 10 to 20% of the file QC.
I want to say
And then, can you talk a little bit about how the employees are paid? Is it by hour or by box? And is it different for QC versus scanning?
Yeah, it's a tiered process. So there's a start at piece rate per box. So the scanners and the preppers start being paid a certain amount for each box. And then that's based on productivity moving up to prepper 2 or scanner 2, which goes to an hourly wage, minimum wage. And then over that we get closer to commensurate wage, which is, or prevailing wage, which is about $9 an hour, which is on the 3rd tier. So you can tier up from one to the next. But they all start with being paid as a completed box.
Yeah. You know, the series can be.
On my ID, I normally use a scanner and then click clock out. Okay, then I clock out. Then make sure that I did. And I did.
Beautiful. Thank you
You
so
did it.
much,
Okay.
David.
Very
Thank
good, David.
you.
Thank you.